What is going on, YouTube? Early version of Pass the Prop. I don't think we've ever done an early one this early. 8:30 my time here. Coming at you guys for some Thanksgiving plays. I might even throw an NBA play in there at the end. But joined as always by my guy Stu. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. We've got obviously an amazing NBA slate today. Freaking 20 games going on. Then we've got three great NFL games tomorrow. Then Friday's NBA slate is another great one. We've got like 20 more NBA games on Friday. So it's going to be a good next couple of days of betting. Also, what about the MLB days? We were here in the morning. Okay, people are used to this. We were doing those morning shows every Friday. So it's just a nice little throwback here.
Oh, yeah. Were we doing 8s or were we doing?
I think so.
We were doing 8 a.m.
before work every day, so I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh yeah, I was popping out. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, yeah, dude. I don't know. I get so routined into these, and once you move it up a little bit, it's just so weird, like popping back on here. I remember because I would always remember seeing your hair like 7 different ways in the morning. So
it looks like that right now. That's why we got the hood up, baby. Okay, industry secret right there.
Yeah, did you? I don't know if you saw my play of the day video yesterday, but I had to wear my hat. My hair was everywhere. I put my Packer hat on just so I didn't have to deal with it, and it was just like, yeah, hey, you do it long enough, you figure out your way how to do it. So, but yeah, appreciate all you guys popping in here. Got 20 you guys in here already in the first 2 minutes. We appreciate you guys joining us for our impromptu time today. But yeah, let's just start talking a little bit. Let's first we kind of talk about some NBA stuff. Obviously, want to do our recap of everything there. Because yeah, those games were weird, man. Those games on Wednesday were weird. Some pretty high totals still getting up there, and obviously the games yesterday we saw Simmons pop off in his return and all that. So I was cheering for that triple double pretty heavy, but yeah, it was weird. I got hooked on Vucevic. He had 19 at half. And I think I only think he scored 1 point in the second half. He grabbed 5 boards, but did not get us there. But fortunately, Clint Capella, after getting 1 rebound in the first quarter, playing 9 minutes and grabbing 1 rebound in the first quarter, found a way to get there, get the 12 rebounds. On I think it was like the last minute. It was a little sweatier than we expected, but yes, that was exciting. And then obviously another blowout kills a play, which has been kind of the tune of a lot of these NBA games recently.
Yeah. When you lose a play like that, I mean, Buddy Hield went 1 for 10 from 3. Like, what am I supposed to do? He shoots 40% from 3. He took 10 of them. I'd sign up for that literally every single day. So, unfortunately, like you said, the National Blowout Association strikes again. So that's why got a little bit more NFL today. Don't have to worry about that quite as much.
Yeah, no, and that's a good transition over into NFL here. Obviously, each one of us has a play for you guys, but what are your plans for Thanksgiving? You guys watching football all day? You going around flying to family's places or what?
Yeah, I'm going to some family spots, and I am hearing some discouraging news about the football fandom at those households. So I could be really one of those ESPN box score guys the whole time where I'm just constantly looking down. But, family comes over football. I can watch football every single, weekend, Thursday, Monday, blah, blah, blah. So I'll suck it up a little bit and, eat some turkey, but we're going to be keeping track of football. What about you?
Yeah, mine's I told you this year's going to be a little more interesting because my immediate family, me and my dad always watch all the games. My sister and mom always are watching parades and all the stuff, the Thanksgiving Day stuff. But the interesting thing this year of Thanksgiving is going to be how obviously we're going over to not married yet, but in-laws, we'll say in-laws. And we're going over there. And I always get my girlfriend has 3 sisters, so they don't care about football at all. 3 of the boyfriends like football, and the dad likes football, but you get override by all the girls there, so you get screwed. But this is where we're going. My girlfriend and I are in that fantasy league. I told you that 16-team league. She's in first. I'm in second by 4 points, bro. So I think I'm going to be able to watch football. I think she's going to want to watch it on TV. And I got, like I said, I was telling you, I have my entire team on the Bills. So I have to watch because I'm going to be rolling on in that 16-man league. I got Davis. I got Allen. I got the Bills defense. I got Tyler Bass. I literally have almost 90% of the Bills starting roster there. So we're going to have to hope. If I lose this one and fall a full game out of first, and I'm just going to get chirped for the rest of the year. So this is a big week. We need the fantasy team to show up.
Hey, but that was good thinking. You were playing the long game, right? Getting your girlfriend into fantasy. That has some big Thanksgiving repercussions right there. So I like it.
Yeah, except she's in first and I'm in second now. So I got Josh Allen needs about a 40 piece this week. So can't be much worse than last week, at least fantasy wise.
Yeah, well, even going into that game a little bit, right? That is the first one, I believe, right?
Yep.
Bills versus Lions. What do you think about that? Do you think you're going to get your fantasy points right there? Are you feeling kind of comfortable like this is your week?
Yeah, dude. I'm impressed by the Lions. These last 3 weeks, dude, they're just finding a way to stay close. And surprisingly, Jared Goff is getting it done. The only thing is I just don't know how explosive that offense is. Like they don't have big plays. DJ Chark is back, which is a little bit better, but Amon-Ra, I mean, his ADOT's like 6 yards down the field. You're not really seeing them push the ball, and that's really what the Bills are going to do to this team. I think that I'm going to probably, if I'm going to bet anything for a spread wise, I would probably take the Lions at 10 points. I think that's a pretty hefty line to cover. I mean, the Bills have been doing a great job of it, but still, if the Bills like stayed in Detroit, I'd get it maybe, and maybe they just stay there. But I think they flew back and then are going right back. So it's like the travel's still there. You get the home game on Thanksgiving. The Lions are going to find a way to show up. And coming off of 3 wins in a row, I think it's going to stay close enough where I think we still see Josh Allen chuck that ball about 40, 45 times.
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough, right? You kind of got to feel like this is the Lions Super Bowl a little bit. Thanksgiving, nationally televised. The rest of the season is likely the road to who gets the best draft pick, right? So I kind of got to feel like this is their last hurrah a little bit. But the way I kind of feel, honestly, is I don't mind Buffalo blowing teams out. They're probably the only team I don't mind. I was looking through Tyler Bass, right? I was like, maybe I want to play field goals, right? If they're going to blow them out, I assume they kick a lot of field goals. In games that they've played won by 10 or more points, he only has like 1 field goal per game. Like when they win by 10 or more points, they just destroy you. Like Gabe Davis deep touchdowns, Stephon Diggs deep touchdowns. Josh Allen, he honestly gets more aggressive, I think, in those times where he just feels much more free to just chuck the ball down the field. And yeah, the Bills offense has absolutely no mercy. So I really don't mind the Bills offense, whether they blow them out or whether they don't blow them out. But I do think it probably, like you said, will be a little bit of a closer game. I think the Lions probably stick around that 10-point mark for most of the game. They're trailing, kind of in contention, but they don't actually pull out the win.
Yeah, and one guy I want to talk about, not going to be a play of mine yet. Possibly. He's found his way to my card a few times. St. Brown. Did you see his reception line at 7.5 at plus 105? We haven't seen a line like that since like you're looking at like Cooper Kupps and guys of that nature. Now you're getting the Sun God at 7.5 receptions. Do you have a lean on that one? That one is just like, I don't even know if you need a lean. I was just saying like we have not seen that line from St. Brown ever. I think 6.5 is usually where he's stuck at, but 7.5, the books are showing a little more respect there.
And it's not even like it's been 6.5, minus 140. It's been 6.5, like plus 110, so now it's a pretty big leap right there. Yeah, I see why. You kind of mentioned it earlier, though. It's the ADOT. It's Jared Goff never looking downfield. It's slowly moving the ball, kind of one check down at a time. And as someone that had Amon-Ra St. Brown in fantasy last week, how many catches did this guy have in the red zone where he wasn't even close to scoring a touchdown? Like he's getting these catches on the 5-yard line, then immediately just ducking out of bounds. It's almost like the guy has he's playing like the Tyler Lockett where he's just going down when he catches the ball. So I don't know if that's by play design. I don't know what the purpose of that is, but yeah, I see him catching plenty of kind of short passes, slowly moving him down the field.
Yeah, no, I think he had 2 or 3 catches inside the 5-yard line last week and did not score. Obviously, would have to go to the vulture of all vultures, seeing Jamal Williams.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a little bit about the first game. We'll head into the second game and then obviously come back to give you our props for that game. Coming back, we got the Giants-Cowboys, 10-point spread. Giants 10-point dogs, minus 115 on that side. Do you have a lean? Obviously, we have the Cowboys at home. This is their big game too, right? You always get the home game for Thanksgiving. 45.5-point total. This is, I don't know how the Giants are really going to move the ball here. I really don't.
I don't either. I don't know at all. But if you looked back at 10-point dogs in division this season, I don't think you'd be doing too well if you were betting the favorites right there. I really don't, right? It's been a pretty brutal season overall for favorites in general that are more than 10 points, especially in division. So the thing is, the more I've been thinking, for me, the Cowboys might be the scariest team in the NFC, honestly. Like, if they put everything together on offense, they really scare me a lot. I think the Cowboys defense is absolutely, it's scary, right? Nobody wants to play against that. And now we have notorious fumbler Daniel Jones, who's had a good year, right? Daniel Jones having a great year. He gets a brutal matchup right here. He hasn't really faced this kind of pressure yet this season. I'm worried he's going to crumble. I'm worried there's going to be an interception. I'm worried there's going to be a fumble, a Trayvon Diggs pick six. This kind of feels like the perfect meltdown spot for the Giants for the rest of the season, right? After they started so hot. Like, if you look at their records right now and you didn't know anything else, there's no way you'd put this at a 10-point spread. You'd be looking at 3, especially if I told you they were division rivals. But since the public perception is so low on the Giants, it's obviously up to 10. I think the Giants could probably backdoor cover this, but I'm much more worried that the Cowboys just kind of annihilate them. And I think that starts on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, my toughest thing is, like, who are you passing the ball to here? Like, Darius Slayton's the last guy left.
Yeah,
I don't know if Bellinger's back yet. That was a guy who had some promise earlier in the year. We have Wan'Dale Robinson, the killer of all my best ball leagues, because I was grabbing him late in almost every single league. He's out for the year. I was talking to you pre-show. I just picked up the Kansas City defense here. You're facing Bryce Perkins in Arrowhead. But I don't even know if I can play them over my Cowboys defense because they're playing Daniel Jones with a Darius Slayton as your number one option. Like, I truly do not know how this game really stays close unless they just run Saquon 40 times, and I don't think they're really willing to do that.
Yeah. Well, here, let me say this too. An interesting stat I saw over the first 6 weeks of the season, Saquon Barkley led the league in most of these explosive run categories. Over the last 6 weeks, he is bottom tier. And I think a lot of that has to do, it's hard to trust a guy recovering from that many injuries to carry the ball 30 times a game. And that's really, Saquon plays more snaps than almost any running back in football. Maybe Joe Mixon might be ahead of him, but I think it's pretty much just him. So I think that usage is starting to catch up to Saquon as well. So I don't know. One more thing. When was the last time Kenny Golladay had a good game? The last time I can remember was on Thanksgiving for the Lions 2 years ago. So maybe it's the Kenny Golladay primetime narrative revenge game right here, where he shows the world that he's not washed and that he is in fact good. Just a thought.
Yeah, no, it's just, I don't think that he'll be able to get more than 6 yards down the field before Daniel Jones is laying flat on his back. So it's like, that's the thing is, we saw Kirk Cousins fold to the pressure. I think we could easily see that here too. And it's not like these edge rushers aren't keeping up with Daniel Jones. These dudes are fast. They're super athletics. They're bringing dudes off their bench, right? They're just bringing in 3 or 4 guys rotating through this and still getting sacks. Even last week, I think only Parsons had 1.5, and they still ended up with 7. So it's not like, I know everybody likes to talk about Parsons, and it's well deserved, but they got dudes everywhere on that front line. So I really don't know how this one stays close. If I had to pick between those two, if it's a survivor, I'm taking the Cowboys before I would probably take the Bills, even though that is very hard to say as they're facing the Lions. And then heading into game 3, this one is probably the most interesting. Obviously, the spread indicates this. You have the Vikings coming off an absolute beating, heading home, facing on Bill Belichick, 2.5-point spread. What are the thoughts here on this one? This is, I don't know, dude. This is a toss-up to me. I thought this would be a pick-em, but I think the 2.5 is literally just for home field.
Yeah, this is tough, man, because when we think about it, we've talked about this multiple times now this season. What really gives Kirk Cousins problems? It's pressure, right? Pressure. We saw that last week. The Patriots are in the same tier as the Cowboys in terms of pressure rate this season. They're another team that is top 5 in both quick pressure rate and pressure rate, which means they're getting to the quarterback extremely fast. Matthew Judon is having one of the best seasons in the NFL, and he's not really that talked about over there as well either. So this Patriots defense is scary, man. It is absolutely scary. I kind of want to take the Patriots to win this one. The only problem is we're so low on the Vikings right now, right? We are so low as a community. We just watched them get destroyed last week. Everyone said it was a trap game. And now we've got to trust, the Vikings to come out and cover 3 points against Bill Belichick in prime time. Ooh, that's a tough ask for me. I want to take the Patriots, but I hate the idea of, kind of buying high on the Patriots, I guess, and selling low on the Vikings. That really stresses me out because I do think the Vikings are a better team than people are making them out to be right now.
Yeah, no, dude. I truly cannot take the Patriots in this game for the fact that I'm having to pay a premium after you just get that kick return for a touchdown. Everybody's hype about that. But also, Mac Jones, did anybody watch that game? That dude is trash. That dude just sucked so bad in that game, missing open receivers. Both quarterbacks look terrible. It's hard for me to bet the Patriots when everybody is watching them return that for a touchdown. They're like, holy crap, this team is crazy, whatever. But you're playing Zach Wilson. I get it. I'm not the biggest Kirk Cousins fan. You guys already know this, right? I'll tell you how it is. Do I want the Vikings to win? Probably not. I'm an NFC North guy, but I think that they have what it takes to win this game. I think that they win this game because Belichick takes away your best player, right? Who are you taking away? Delvin, you're taking away Jefferson, right? If you take away Jefferson and you're giving a soft box to Delvin Cook, we saw Delvin Cook run all over the Cowboys in the first 3 drives, right? So only thing I'm worried about is this game just turning into a 6-possession game per side, and it's just 10-yard possession, 10-minute possession, 8-minute possession, one more possession and we're at half. That could just easily kill all these props. I still think Jefferson will still get his own here, right? Everybody's going to be like, oh, Belichick takes away your best guy, but if he was the only dude, right? If it was like Kelvin Johnson when he was there and they literally had nobody else, I get it, right? If you're playing the Giants, you have to take away Saquon. I get that. That's all you need to do. But the Vikings have enough talent, I think, even now with Hockenson, definitely able to spread that ball around a little bit more. That's why I think that addition was so important there. Let's take a look at these questions after. Do you have any thoughts here if you had to pick a side to win?
Well, that's a tough one. I think I would take the Vikings to win just on the fact that, like you mentioned in your explanation right there, if the Vikings go up 7-0, the game instantly becomes hard for the Patriots. If the Vikings go up 10-0,
it's over.
If
the Vikings go up 10-0,
sorry, whoa, you froze for me.
I froze?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, exactly. If the Vikings go up 10-0, are we going to trust Mac Jones to lead the charge? Exactly what you said. He's been absolutely atrocious recently. So it's going to be an interesting game. I'm actually excited for it. I think it'll be close. But any props I'm betting in this game, I'm kind of assuming that the final score is going to be 20-17, no matter who wins.
Perfect. Let's get to some questions here. Before we'll get to a couple of your questions, guys, and then we'll actually drop our plays, and then we'll get to the rest of them here. So, Greg bringing up Mac Jones completions. Is this the spot you're looking at? I know the Vikings really do struggle against receivers, but as we've seen last game, they get absolutely nuked by the run as well. So, is this a spot? Greg's bringing up 19. I believe it's 19 and a half completions in this one. Where are we looking? I mean, obviously, we'll kind of talk about this a little bit in your play.
Yeah, this kind of feels like a bet I'm going to lose to Bailey Zappi coming in the second quarter right here. But I do, in general, like it. Just Mac Jones simply operates from the check down. This team checks the ball down so much, and it doesn't even have to be a running back. To tight ends, Jonnu Smith last week, 4 catches for 40 yards. Pretty much all of that was after the catch. Just check down after check down after check down. When that's the way you get down the field, then I think, obviously, I think he probably does go over. I'm just worried if the Vikings can't stop the run, which they've actually been pretty good against the run so far this year, then they're just not going to throw. Like, why would they throw, right? If Stevenson and Harris can just run all game, then Mac Jones is going to throw the ball like Justin Fields amount of times today. So for that reason, it's probably a pass for me, but I definitely understand it just because they dink and dunk their way down the field. There's no like constant threat of a 50-yard pass at any moment on this team, which is very scary.
For sure. And actually, we'll go right into mine just because you kind of alluded to that pretty well there. With absolutely no deep threat there, I will actually be heading to one of my favorite deep threats, the guy I've been backing quite a bit here. And my play for this week, I'll start off with Gabe Davis over 22.5 longest reception here. I absolutely love this spot. We look at Gabe Davis's numbers so far this year. In his last 5 games, he's hit this in 4 of 6. One of those games had a 22-yard catch, so he got hooked on that one. But in that game, I believe the longest reception was 21.5. So he actually did hit his number because I believe I was on that as well. So he's actually hit his longest reception prop in 5 of his last 6 games. We're facing off against a Lions defense here who, as of right now, is allowing the 3rd most yards to wide receivers so far. I think we see a little bit more from these teams doing what we saw last week with Cleveland, where they're just trying to take away Stephon Diggs because he's doing so well pretty much everywhere you put him. Diggs had a down game, still did decent with the touchdown scoring that kind of bailed him out there. But we saw that bracket coverage over the top. Stephon Diggs couldn't get open. And you can't really do that against the Bills. We saw Dawson Knox and Gabe Davis step up. What I really like is that we're actually seeing targets now, right? We were always talking about how Gabe Davis gets 3 to 4 targets. You just got to hope he gets something to happen here, right? Last 4 games here, 7, 10, 5, and 7. That 10-point or that 5 target game was against the Jets, where that game just kind of got into a slugfest there at only 2017, just kind of a slower game. But I think Gabe Davis catches breaks a big one here. We'll be talking about him a little bit later in our touchdown parlay because I absolutely love him there as well. We've seen them beat deep. Gabe Davis is fantastic after the catch. And one of these guys that if he's going to catch a ball, about 90% of the time it's going for more than 15 yards. His average is already over that. So I believe his average is number 1 in the NFL at the moment at 21.1 yards per catch. Obviously that 80 or 99 yard one definitely skewed stuff, but 21.1 yards per catch is insane. I think we easily see him cross this one against this Detroit defense.
Yeah, no, I love this bet right here. Absolutely love the longest reception market. And I mean, this market was made for Gabe Davis, right? He is absolutely the epitome of just cashing these deep passes. And like you said, too, he's been expanding that role a little bit recently where we're seeing him get more short intermediate targets, especially when Diggs is seeing that kind of bracket coverage, right? Where he's just obviously the much harder target right there. And like I said earlier, in these blowout games, Josh Allen loves to air it out. I mean, he absolutely loves to do that. And Gabe Davis is obviously the number 1 choice right there. So, yeah, I like Gabe Davis a lot right here. He's been one of my guys. And I got to say, too, when we get to playoff season, man, this is just an auto bet every single day. Like starting week 16 on, week 16 on, when these teams actually open up their playbooks in serious games, Gabe Davis every single game for the rest of the season. It'll probably hit 5 of 7, and you'll be very happy. So, absolutely love this spot.
Beautiful. Turbo bringing up that is on FanDuel. I was specifically on DraftKings this morning looking for my props, so make sure you go pop over there. I think that's obviously a great look. If I like it at minus 120, minus 114 is even better there. We had a lot of Mac Jones questions in there before, and that leads us right into your play here for play number 2.
Yep, we're going to Ramondre Stevenson over 3.5 receptions, minus 130. This one's on the Canby books, but a lot of the spots are moving up to minus 150, minus 140. So I'd probably play it up to minus 140 and then, maybe add in another safer money line, throw in something else to bring it down a little bit. But I love Stevenson in this spot right here. Oh, he has been great so far this season, right? Stevenson's kind of really showing that he's taken over that RB1 role. And Damien Harris did return last week, right? Or he's been there for, I believe, 2 weeks now.
Yep.
That actually hasn't affected Stevenson too much, especially when we look at it last week where Damien Harris actually had a better week than Stevenson, pretty much, at least on the ground. He was actually out there participating. But guess what? There's one area of the field where, yes, Damien Harris can touch the ball, but he's not going to get even close to Ramondre Stevenson, and that's the receiving game. And we saw it last week. Ramondre Stevenson ran 26 routes last week. Damian Harris ran 5. So while I like Damian Harris, I do think he vultures away a little bit at kind of the rushing touches for Stevenson, where Stevenson has been kind of inefficient these last couple of weeks. I do think he has pretty much a monopoly on those 3rd and long, on those clear passing downs, on those 2-minute drills, all those real important key snaps we need for these checkdowns right here. I think Stevenson's an actual perfect fit. And I see Terrence asking about 4.5 at plus 115. If it's plus money, then I'm definitely on board. As long as you're getting above plus 100, I do like it at over 4.5 too. The recent form has just been too good right here. Stevenson has been absolutely killing it. When you look at PFF grade, the highest graded PFF wide receiver or receiving running back in the league is Christian McCaffrey. The only other person with a 90-plus grade is Ramondre Stevenson. That's for good reason. He's making plays, right? If you look at last week, he had a game, pretty much a key fourth quarter play where he broke a tackle at the line of scrimmage and ended up getting the first down. That's because he's very talented, right? Stevenson's been great. I love getting him in open field right here. 3.5 receptions feels great. I see people saying 4.5 plus money. I would definitely, 3.5 at Buffalo win. I think that's a very good combo. I like that a lot. So I like Stevenson right here. He should continue to, run 5 times more routes than Damian Harris. And while I was between rushing and receiving, I don't know what you think about this one. I was very close to maybe playing the rushing receiving combo. I like a lot of different approaches, but I know you're a huge Tony Pollard guy. They were actually pretty solid against him in the run. He wasn't too efficient last week. Obviously, he had that huge 60-yard, catch or whatever that broke the game open. But in terms of the actual D-line for the Vikings stopping the run, it's actually pretty good. And once you stop the run, I think that means more checkdowns, more short passing to kind of supplement that intermediate, run game right there.
Yeah, I appreciate your look at talking about the GOAT, Tony Pollard, on that running game. I think he had 80 yards, but I think he had a 20-yard pop off in there too. So 15 for 80, but hey, nobody's as explosive as Tony Pollard in the entire NFL. So obviously it's going to make it a little bit harder for anybody else. No one else is hitting that hole like that. That elite GOAT status there. I wish the only thing that could make this Thanksgiving better is to see Geno Smith in that late game. That's the only thing that could have made this Thursday better. So actually, that brings us right over here to Terrence bringing up Pollard season. Hey, I'm going to keep riding it. I'm going to keep going on that rushing receiving until it lets me down. That's 3 straight weeks for me taking that, and it's found a way to get there. I just don't know how you can go back to playing Zeke as much as we thought he was going to play, right? I mean, if you do, then hopefully Dallas just gets Jerry Jones out of there, huh? Say, hey, fire him, get rid of him. I don't know how you do that because he owns the team, but if we start seeing Zeke come back in and playing more snaps than Pollard, I think that's just an absolute disgrace.
I think if that happens, there's going to be literal protests in Dallas outside of the stadium with signs and speakers and everything like that. Because even coming from me, that would be absolutely insane. My biggest problem with this bet, you're buying so high right now, man. I was looking at those rush yards. You're really paying probably the peak yards he's going to be at this season. The thing you have going for you is I think Dallas is kind of going to crush them. And I think when they're crushing them, I think Pollard's might carry the ball 20 times again today. The big worry is just if Zeke obviously comes in and, goes a nice 13 for 31, a great Zeke stat line right there.
Yeah, I just liked how even with how successful he was in the passing game, he still got 15 carries on the ground. Even when they were up 27, Pollard was still in there in that third quarter. Obviously, you don't expect to be up 31 points with 6 minutes in the third, but they still let him run out there. Obviously, had over 100 yards receiving last game, 80 yards rushing. I just think that when these guys are trying to get outside and trying to make those big plays, you just can't use Zeke to try to get out there, Perfect. I actually really like this question here from Jay. Thoughts on Hockenson over 4.5 receptions? We were kind of talking about, do you take away Cook or you take away Jefferson? It's going to be tough here. Cousins loves those checkdowns too.
Exactly, and Dalvin Cook isn't even getting the checkdowns anymore. TJ Hockenson is pretty much running the same route tree as Kyle Juszczyk was earlier in the season, where he's just going out to the flat right there and being that easy, dependable check down. And you very much might need that against this pass rush. So I kind of feel the same way. The biggest thing that you have got me thinking about since we started this is I am starting to get a little bit worried. Maybe this is the Dalvin Cook show. Maybe this is a good opportunity for me to maybe sprinkle 100+ rush yards, something like that, get some good odds. Because the more I think about it, I really don't think that I think the game plan from Kevin O'Connell is going to be very different this week. I think he saw what that pressure did to Kirk last week. Those all those coverages they were getting from the Cowboys were scary. That natural pressure was scary. I think we could see a lot of running to start this game out. A lot of quick passes, which should help Hockenson, but a lot of running. So I definitely like the over, though. I think he's going to need to kind of step up and be that dependable check down. The biggest problem, traditionally, the safeties, linebackers, they're great for the Patriots. I hate just historically playing tight ends against the Patriots, but that's just me.
No, for sure. And I always like to look at their last few games, especially because they're going to tell you, obviously, the Patriots have been fantastic. You look at fantasy stuff, you look at all of that stuff. They've been fantastic, but they went up huge on the Colts, right? That was with Ellinger there. Obviously, that's a team that can run the ball very well. And they got up big on the Browns, who are trying to run the ball, right? And if you look at all these games here, they're getting ahead of these teams that just cannot pass, and they're really run heavy. So even we looked at when they played the Bears got ahead. And the Bears ended up running for over 230 yards on these dudes. So I'm not super afraid of the run defense, more as I'm afraid of those corners. I'm afraid of the scheme that Belichick will run here. So that's the only reason I'm nervous with this is just, I think for some reason, I just got a feeling that Dalvin Cook might just have a pop off.
Yeah, but I think we're actually on the same page. And two, I want to shout it out one more time. If you do have Prize Picks, I think first half rush yards is a good spot right there. I think that's one of those situations where I'd be much more comfortable in the first half than in the second half, where things could get a little bit more crazy.
Perfect. Yeah, for sure. For sure. And that's the same thing with Gabe Davis is I'm almost nervous because there's so many good guys who have good matchups because the defense is just so bad, That's why we did the longest reception and not obviously catches or yards, just because I looked at Pro Football Focus. Isaiah McKenzie, Stephon Diggs, and Gabe Davis, all of them are in the top 15 matchups of the week against this Lions defense, which is just awful, awful. Last question before we get to our touchdown parlay and recap here. Vikings -1 first half. Thoughts on that from our guy Turbo there?
This to me is a bet on Kevin O'Connell. Can he come in with a great game plan right here? I'm not sure. I haven't seen enough from him to be convinced. So I'm going to say no. I would not really feel great about that. With what we've seen with Kirk Cousins against pressure, not just the season, in his whole career, this is a guy that just can't take pressure, right? So I don't know. When we get a Patriots team that can really get to the quarterback, I'm pretty scared by that. So I will not be betting any real money on the Vikings. But I do think this is a statement game for Coach Kevin O'Connell, if he can get these guys out there with a great game plan to kind of keep the pressure out of Cousins' face and keep the ball moving.
Yeah, no, and if this is coming from my guy Stu here, that he is ripping up Kirk Cousins, this is the biggest Kirk Cousins fan on the history of the planet. I'm the biggest opposite Kirk Cousins fan on the planet here. So if you hear it from me, you're like, oh, this guy hates Kirk Cousins. But this guy actually likes Kirk Cousins, and he's telling you this. So that makes me even more willing to probably be back in that Patriots in the first half there. So, yeah, you're hearing it from probably top 5 on the Kirk Cousins fan club over here. So that's definitely concerning if you're back in the Vikings. All righty, guys. We're to the end here. Let's actually do our recap first like we usually do, and then we'll go to our touchdown parlay to finish off the show because I think we're both pretty busy here in the next couple hours getting everything going for the holidays here. So I'll kick it to you first.
Yep, Ramondre Stevenson over 3.5 receptions, -130 right here. Like I said, I probably played up to -150, and then throw in Bill's money line if he gets any crazier than that right there, or 4.5 plus money, which I do like also.
Beautiful, and I'll be back in Gabe Davis over 22.5 longest reception, -114 on FanDuel, -120 on DraftKings. We are to it. Oh, man, that was crazy. You look like one of those guys from one of those horror movies that they just kind of have that on their face for it. So we have our touchdown parlay, 16-1 almost. We're getting on the odds here. I'm putting a half unit because I'm feeling a little frisky here. So we have Gabe Davis, Dalton Schultz, Damian Harris. I'll talk first because Gabe Davis, obviously, game one. I absolutely love this spot. Like I said, I kind of talked about the Lions in terms of yards, right? They're third most in yards, but they're also giving up a touchdown per game to the wide receiver position. I just really like how Gabe Davis can score in the red zone. He can score from 50 yards out. He is their deep threat. And the Lions just haven't shown the ability to put consistent pressure on the quarterback. And if you're not going to put pressure on Josh Allen, he's going to sit back there and pick you apart. 21 yards per catch is just absolutely absurd. And now you're going to give me a spot against these corners that the number one is going over to Diggs. I don't even know who you consider their number one because they're, like I said, bottom three of their guys. And Isaiah McKenzie's ranked in the top 10 for matchup this week. That's all you need to know. Josh Allen's going to tear these guys apart. He was just here last week. He's going to be right away, ready to go. We kind of felt that they started slow playing in a dome like that right away. But now they already did it last week. Now they're going to come out, pedal to the metal. I expect to see Gabe Davis have one of those big pop-off games that you need.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm going Dalton Schultz right here. Even in last week's absolute blowout, still 2 red zone targets. I've talked about this a lot. Schultz and Dak, they just have that connection, right? Schultz looked absolutely terrible, but that's because Cooper Kupp was out there. Or not Cooper Kupp. They wish it was Cooper Kupp throwing passes. Cooper Rush out there for the first however many weeks of the season. As soon as Dak came back, that connection was reinstated once again. I like these odds a lot right here at plus 200 for Schultz to get in the end zone. I think he probably has a much better matchup than most of those guys. So definitely liking Schultz right here.
Yeah, and then we definitely, both of us got to talk about Damian Harris here. This guy is the red zone back. He's like the Jamal Williams or the DeAndre Swift of Ramondre Stevenson. If he gets inside the 5, you know who's getting the ball. Stevenson, obviously, is a lot more explosive. He's very good out of the backfield. Obviously, he can catch touchdowns. Damian Harris is there for one job, and that is to run the ball and run hard. And we've seen him score how many red zone touchdowns this year over even last year. I think he was almost tied for first in the NFL for a couple games last year where you just 5 yards in, it's pretty much a guarantee where that ball is going. I don't want to trust Mac Jones inside the 10. I'd much rather give the ball to Damian Harris. So I think he finds a way into the end zone here against this Vikings defense.
Yep, I completely agree. Even as someone that's betting on Stevenson, just getting vultured at the very end right there is not something I want to bet against.
All right, let's switch this up. We're going to go 1851. That is what the people are saying here on FanDuel. We'll switch it to why did that do that? There you go. Put it at quarter unit at 18.5 to 1. I really like that spot. I mean, we're going to see a 80-yard touchdown in the first play of the game to Gabe Davis, and then everything else is gravy. So, yeah, I'm pumped. I'm really excited for this round of these Thanksgiving games. Stu, we're done. We got everything out. I know you're busy here. What is the number one food on Monotone Football's list for Thanksgiving?
Oh my God, that's a question right there. See, one, I'll start out. I'm a turkey defender. Okay, I'm not one of these.
All right, we're gonna have issues.
I'm not one of these guys. I'm too cool for turkey. Oh, it's dry. I like ham. You can have ham on Christmas or Easter. Okay, let's calm down. Turkey is the main course of the Thanksgiving dinner. People don't call it Turkey Day for nothing right here. So I'm a huge turkey defender right here. I really just like the whole thing. You know, one thing doesn't make or break the meal for me. I just like the whole communal dining. You get the gravy, you get the mashed potatoes. I love pumpkin pie. I'll throw that out there. I think pumpkin pie should be a year-round thing. I don't know why we're just limiting ourselves to this time of year. I'm a huge pumpkin pie guy, so that will probably be my number one selection.
Yeah, dude, I'm like the exact opposite. I'm like ham always, but I also on Thanksgiving, I think it makes it better because I love ham by itself all the time. Like I eat it all the time. But there's something about ham cut up. You put it cut up and you mix it with your mashed potatoes, dude. There's nothing better than that. Like that's just like another planet type of food. And then about 20 minutes later, I can just unclip the belt and just sit there and watch football the rest of the day. Like that's tough to beat. It's tough to beat all the gravy on top. I always just like smothering it up. So that's mine. But I mean, apple pie is my go-to. I have to have apple pie on Thanksgiving. It's like, if I don't have it, it almost just doesn't feel like Thanksgiving, you know, like you got to have apple pie there. That is always my choice. But Yeah, I can't pass it up because the combo with the mashed potatoes and the ham, it's just an elite combo, dude. It's like
you're
Tyrese
saying
Halliburton
that-
kicking it to Buddy Hield type of combination. That's what it's like.
You're saying that like you can't also use turkey with mashed potatoes and gravy, which is what everyone else does.
It just doesn't taste as good. It doesn't mix as well, dude. It's like ham can just get comboed with so many different things and tastes amazing. Turkey, if I'm eating turkey, I need that turkey leg. I'm just biting. I'm going at it there, but I just can't combo it. Like, yeah, can you dunk a turkey leg into mashed potatoes? It just doesn't feel right. It's just not. It doesn't look right.
See, you're hurting your argument right here as well, though, because now you're no. This is
that's all you need to see. It's turkey. No, Terrence is finally. Hey, this is all I needed to see. That's all I needed to see. It's over. Your argument's over. That's all I needed. Ham is Pollard. That's number one.
Listen, you can eat a turkey leg separate, and then you can also use that white meat or the dark meat and mix it all around. You can't do that. You can't eat a ham leg. Nobody does that. There's now multiple good ways to consume a turkey. Also, a turkey club the next day, fire up some bacon in the morning. You can't do that with ham, okay? It's a turkey.
You can throw the ham in the eggs. You can't throw a turkey in the eggs.
That's a fair argument. Yeah, you got me there. But yeah, I don't like this at all. I don't know where my turkey guys are. Please comment on Twitter. Please message me. Please put it in the comments so that I know that these people in the live right now, while they are our great guests, we love them, they are wrong. So it's turkey day. We don't call it ham day. I mean, have your ham on Christmas. You can wait. We're not that far away. It's a month away. Come on now.
That is the best. That is the best. I thought the Pollard one was the number one thing you come up with. That is the best take I've seen. But yeah, no, it's just I think that the turkey is primetime Kirk might be one of the best things I've read in a while. So I'll make sure I post a picture of my ham with mashed potatoes might be I have to go over on Pickett. I think on Twitter people would roast me. So yeah. Yes, it is both. But hey, we've already seen how much people don't like Zeke on there and have put him in the number 2 spot. You got to be like ESPN and be a ranking guy on everything. You got to rank everything. So.
Oh yeah.
Stu, what do you got for the people before we head out? Before we get start throwing hands on this ham argument here?
Yeah, no, I think that was a great way to end the show right here. I appreciate everyone that tuned in. We obviously got these picks for the Thanksgiving day. Also, both of us, huge NBA slate today, huge NBA slate Friday. So we will definitely have tons of stuff over on Twitter. You're going to want to make sure to follow us both on there. I also want to say, hey, I posted Washington -3 over on Pickett on Sunday night. It's -4 everywhere now. So you would have that CLV right there. If you were following us over on Pickett, use code PTP. They'll give you between $3 and $100. So I enjoyed the show a lot. It was a lot of fun. I'm thankful for every one of you guys that tune in here every week. It is much appreciated, whether you comment, whether you like, whether you just show up and tail our picks. We really do appreciate you. It's that time of year, where you want to give things. And I really do appreciate everyone that comes in here.
For sure. We appreciate all you guys. Still got 30 of you guys in here 40 minutes later, and I'm about to go over on Pickett and take Falcons +4 there. So just got to fade my boy Ron Rivera. I'm still not over. I'm still not over that one yet. I mean, I guess the next argument's going to be Mike McCarthy versus Ron Rivera. That's going to be the next one because he's really hurting me here. So hopefully all you guys keep tailing him so I can get maybe like +6 or something on the Falcons just because it's just a fade around Rivera. I need to see it. But I did have Sirius XM on, and I heard Jonathan Allen talking, and he sounds like a really good guy. So maybe that puts me back. It's just there's so much. Jonathan Allen seemed like a beast, so that's tough. It's tough to go against the guy who kind of talks about that, and Chase Young coming back. So should be exciting. Obviously, I don't know our schedule for Friday on how all that's going to work with everything there. So just make sure you guys tune in on Twitter again. We'll make sure to get that out to you guys. So have a good one, guys. Bet Tyrese Halliburton tonight, and we will definitely keep you guys updated on what's happening for Friday. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck and happy Thanksgiving.